Well, hello everybody. This is breaking. It's unbelievable, really. I just watched THERESA TAM live. Live. She's hosting it right now, and a whole federal staff of doctors on COVID-19 and the fourth wave. Now, world stats, all stats compiled, accurate, as it's reported by the CDC in USA and the WHO and all of it, everybody. All of it. Here's the problem. Canadians. Fourth wave pandemic, astronomical numbers, right? You go on world stats right now, you Google them out, you'll find the top 10 countries with vaccine rates that far exceed every other nation in the world, okay? Every other nation in the world. And we're in a fourth wave. Alberta hit, Saskatchewan, Ontario's starting to go up again. Here's the problem. Here's the stat that nobody, and I repeat, nobody, conservative, liberal, NDP, Bloc, Green, PPC, it goes on and on. All of these parties, every single one, all of those elected to represent you, every MP doesn't talk about it. Canada has the highest immigration program in COVID-19 world-ruled pandemic today, right now. 430,000 people coming in to Canada. And do you know, when you take all those countries, the bulk of immigration, do you know what their vaccine rates are? Do you know what their vaccine rates are? Way down in the toilet. Now, China, a world superpower, not even touching 30% yet. Not even touching. And guess where predominant immigration's coming from? Those with 1/3 the vaccine rate of Canada flooding in. What are the four airports? Calgary, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. And look at the surge out west. And they're talking about all of this coming in a fourth wave, and not one doctor in any real science mental capacity, not one crown colonial sworn first-class citizen who swore that oath is coming to tell you the truth. The truth. And what is that truth? That immigration from absolutely unvaccinated nations are flooding into Canada at unprecedented rates. Nowhere comparable in this world today, right now. There's no other nation that you can even, in any modest comparison, equal to what Canada's doing in immigration. And all of those immigrants, highly, extremely unvaccinated. So what does Canada do? Points the finger at the minority. Even though, again, Canadians, listen to me. You have the highest vaccination rate double dose in the world comparatively on distance, on a vast distance of an expanded country, very, very dispersed. Small population, greatest landmass. This makes no sense until you add that unvaccinated rate of immigrants from countries with absolutely the worst vaccine rates in the entire world. Explain it to me, politicians. You're not dealing with a liar and a loser like yourselves. You're not dealing with an idiot. When I go by the numbers, when you add the rates of immigration, these unprecedented immigration rates during a globally ruled pandemic, you won't find any of the P5 nations entering into immigration like Canada. Not even close, not by a long mile stick measurement. The kind of measurements you can do to map the planets in the solar system, these tiny little bodies with these vast differences between them. That's where Canada sits with immigration from countries predominantly unvaccinated. And look, Canadians, at the destination stops. Add that factor in for the rising fourth wave. And guess what? It all adds up by the numbers. Now, we're going to say science, health, and everything else. Let's just say it's all true. Why the unprecedented immigration from unvaccinated countries? In fact, countries with the worst performance on vaccination. Now, is this murder? If it's the case and it's a globally ruled pandemic and COVID is so dangerous, why are you bringing in the most unvaccinated of immigrants in the entire world? Explain it to me. Explain it to me, somebody. Because I run with world stats. I run with Canada's stats. And when I factor in immigration and immigration destination airports, everything lines up. Everything lines up. Who is killing the most Canadians? Is it the anti-vax, the low percentage, or is it the government's immigration plan? Because by the numbers, it's absolutely the government's immigration plan. Look at it, people. Think. You want to talk science? You want to talk numbers? Those are the numbers. That is reality. If you don't share this, if people don't go live, as I did, and I did ask THERESA TAM, I asked, and I promise you, everybody, no one is going to answer the question because none of you matter. What matters is picking on a small segment of the population and hammering them, as our filthy autocratic government under crown-empowered colonialism has done since its inception. Exactly like countries like Nazi Germany, that no longer exists today, imposed constitution by the P5. Like South Africa, who no longer runs or exists in that fashion, imposed constitution 1993 by the P5. Now I'm going to keep pounding on Canada and our Canadian system. I want it to be all of you. I wanted the 2023 election. I wanted you to have that shot. But I will continue with the P5. I'm going to continue to hammer our political parties, all of the guilty, filthy, lying, cheating, hypocritical, and worse crown colonial autocrats ruled illegal in this world today. They think they've bamboozled the allies. They think they've got away with it. But the evidence just mounts and stacks up. Now, I'm just an economist. But how many others can get this done? Now, we have no legal system in front of us, no way out. The ICC does not hear these cases. They will not. ICJ, the real one, would hear these cases, but Canada quit it. Quit it after South Africa got decimated. Liberals, Conservatives, Labour Party, all destroyed, and I mean wiped out, destroyed in South Africa. Read it, folks. Either way, it's going on YouTube tomorrow for all Treaty 4 Indian chiefs, 39 of them in Saskatchewan. We're going to get it out there. We're going to give the narrative of the Treaty Indian genocide, ceded or unceded, specifically for Treaty 4. We're going to tell them where we're going and how we can free those people. And if you think it doesn't apply to all of you Canadians in your various minority groups, it certainly does. Today, it's religious folks and those who don't want to be in a health experiment in their narratives for various reasons. Yes, a minority group, But just like many others before them, the government has done this. Left or right, folks. There's no such thing. Same as Nazi Germany, same as South Africa. There was no left and right. It was pick a group that the government can use as the scapegoat. Pick a group for the populace to focus its attention on. Use the media, abuse them into the ground. For South Africa, it was the blacks. For Canada, it's the Treaty Indian. It's been the Treaty Indian all the way through. It's been mentally disabled persons or extremely physically disabled persons. They've done that. Still doing that to a measure. Then it was homosexuals, those deemed degenerates of society. Then, now, it's religious folks. Now, it's those who don't believe in the science of the government. They're being picked on. A focus for the entire country. Don't blame your twisted left or right governments. Blame a small minority group. Because they're the reason, when really it's always has and always will be your crown colonial political system, all your elected politicians in a design old in this world, mostly outlawed, mostly gone from this world, but not in 16 countries around this world. That's what Canada is, one of the worst of the worst, designed identically because it was designed before what was Nazi Germany, what was South Africa. And you can look, Republic or any of these other designations, didn't matter as long as they held that autocratic, highest of high executive power, a divinity of a crown, a monarchy system embedded in their system, giving the executive the powers over people, divinity over people, the gods of men or women. That's the truth. That's what we are. And the longer we go along with this, you're going to watch as we commit another human rights atrocity, as the government's found its new group to pick on, religious and anti-science, they call it, or people who just don't want to be a part of a health experiment. Now, I'm not in that. I'm not scared of the vaccine. I've looked at all the data. That's me. But I respect people's choices, whether it's a fundamental human right on a religious ground or it's on their belief in their science. It's a minority group. Why would you hammer the hell out of them? What about those with other pre-existing medical conditions that may not want to be at this time a part of the first round of vaccinations? They want to see the science in a number of years. That's fine. I accept that. With the vaccine rate we have and likely to hit 80% double dosed, is it really that much of an issue when you're already well over the target, well ahead of every other nation? Why perpetuate this? Canada does this all the time. They've completely wiped out all kinds of minority groups and peoples on religious, political, and all kinds of other no-nos in human rights. That is crown colonial power outlawed in this world. It's what led to Nazi Germany. It's what led to South Africa persecution. People, wake up. They used health and science, the provincial Alberta Health Services, but every province has the equivalent because it's a division of provincial powers, orchestrated by the federal government. They've done this time and time again. I just listed all the groups for all of you. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. They're already setting up for the segregation at work. Those without will wear the masks like a Star of David on the sleeve. Or in the mental hospitals, those who are deemed no good for society should not be allowed to procreate. Canada does this over and over again, beyond any of the other nations, beyond any of them. Only 16 of them left in this world today operate like that. It's wrong. And again, everybody, doesn't matter. There is no left and right. It's only what narrative fits the government of a time. They get the divine capitalism. They administer divine socialism on all of you. And then you think you hate capitalism, or capitalist people go, oh, I hate socialists. But really, the system's rigged by one class of people. They live in socialism, getting all the benefits of the divine capitalism they created that's only beneficial for them. And they will administer divine socialism over all of you anytime they wish to destroy you. We're seeing it with the small businesses. They're not going to recover. Look at inflationary right now. I went through it in an earlier video. But right now, we are seeing THERESA, TAM, and all those experts refuse to answer in real science and real data, in real world numbers, their numbers right here in Canada. They're refusing to incorporate unvaccinated, whopping immigration by countries who do not have the vaccine rates. So those coming in are not vaccinated, not by a large margin, dropping your numbers here in Canada as fast as you can add to them. It's never enough. And the government's getting away with literally murder. Murder. Thanks, that's my video. If you don't share, you're the problem. Think about it, everybody. Look at it. Look at the numbers. If numbers are real and all this data is real, government's own data, then why is immigration not included? Unvaccinated immigration by large whopping numbers. Look at the country's numbers and those they're bringing in. And not one word from a conservative, NDP, or liberal. This is fine. This is good. This is perfect. Kill Canadians. Blame the minority group. Kill the minority group. Blame the religious. Blame those who don't want to be part of the experiment, or those who can't participate at this time or don't wish to. That's what they're doing to you. They've been doing it all along. You don't have a single party. Ask Maxime Bernier or Maverick J. Hill. Why are they not talking about? Oh yeah, they're Privy Council. I forgot. Ask Jody Wilson. Ray Brown releases her book, never spends one moment going into the Crown in her entire book. Another fraud. A betrayal of every Indian by an elite Indian. That's the truth. Chiefs are in this system. They're going to get the video tomorrow, at least in Treaty 4. A warning that Africans ignored as they went through independence. Africans ignored it. They said, you know what, we're going to take our customary laws and we're going to enforce that on our new little nations in Africa, 52 countries in Africa. Many of them said, we're going to bring it all back the way we want it. Forget international binding law. Many of them executed, dead. 22 African presidents since independence. Gone dead. Look at it, people. It's easy to ignore the world as it really is when your country keeps you out of it. But Canada does not control the world. And when those powers come, which I'll be hammering month after month, day after day, we're going to be presenting to them, because I would rather have an imposed, fully democratic constitution than the crown colonial shit system we got now. Because you can't win in this system. The third class never wins. You just go down the toilet. Second class, it's a roll of the dice. And if you find yourself on the side of the politician, I guess you're okay. But if you don't, and you're not personal friends with an elected politician, you can kiss your business goodbye on any given Sunday. You can be the best of the best, and they can take it away with the swipe of a pen. And they have. And many of you have experienced it. That's my video. Share, share, share. Go live with THERESA TAM right now. Hit her up on immigration. Let's see the science and the numbers. Oh, we can't look at that. We're just health officials with all this data and numbers, but don't put that stat in there. That would be telling the truth. We have a narrative here. We have a minority group to segregate and destroy. Like the homosexuals, like the mental reduced individual, like the Indian, like the religious folks. That's the truth. Like the small domestic Canadian business owner. Full circle, there is no left and right, people. That's an illusion. An illusion to keep the second and third class down. The majority of the population. And don't ever look to USA. Oh, it's happening, USA, happening, USA. Americans are the wealthiest citizens in the world by an extremely large margin. Extremely large margin. I can prove that all day long. America first. Way, way before Donald Trump. A partisan, constitutional made change. It ended the American-Indian War in 1924. Don't even go there with America. They trump Canada on many, many things. Is America perfect? No. They got federal problems, extreme federal problems too. That's their constitutional amendments to make in the future if they can get there in their House and Senate, their Congress. We'll see. That's their business, not mine. But a lot of what America is trumps Canada by a large, large margin, and many other nations. That's why we want to do a global grab of the best to bring to all of you in every minority language, a real constitutional convention. You'll all write with the best of the best in the world, because I can't even write the Constitution. Nobody should be writing a Constitution governing millions of people. The millions of people should be doing it. And in this day, 2021, with the internet and the power of technology, we can do this. 140 million, all provincial territorial constitutions, and absolutely the federal constitution in full dismemberment and redesign. Now, it's been done 85 times in this world, you guys, by the five powers. Read South Africa, 1993, destroyed. Watch how Canada reacted. They were already changing by 1985, completely rewrote the entire criminal code to escape the P5, to bamboozle them, to pull the wool over their eyes. The sneaky Nazi. That's what we're talking about here. And everybody, Nazi, they fight to this day, academics, left or right, left or right. Americans and Russians have a real hard time with this. America got rid of colonialism a long, long time ago. 256 years ago, they were ripping down the statues. They were changing it. They were fighting back. They got their independence. So it's lost in their culture that many generations ago. That's the truth. The little water toe dips they made with the Philippines on the Spanish-American War, and what was given over in settlement was the Philippines. That's as far as America ever went. And Americans voted, let's get out of that as fast as we got in. And they did. They did. Following the UN, following the Atlantic Charter of 1941, America set about doing it immediately, because they made an agreement with the superpowers, and they did it. Canada has done nothing but rape, abuse, and continually complete genocides against groups of people, left or right spectrum, just like Nazi Germany. Get the mass majority of Canadians to follow the first class, and they do. Because y'all don't know any better. It's sad. Share, share, share. Get it out there. It's got to get out there. Because if you don't, you get what you get. And I guess you deserve it. Thanks. That's my video. Huge, impactful. And you know what? Verifiable, credible, and 100% truthful. THERESA TAM and all of them across every province and territory. You can't bring a medical professional forward to disagree with what I'm saying, but they can ignore it. It's up to your voices to say, what about all these numbers? And they're you find your perpetuated genocide against all the people of Canada, tricking all of you to take the majority to go after another minority group, legislated, perpetuated, when they know full well they're the ones committing the genocide. Always have been, always will be. Time and time again. I can only take one case in all of Canada's history, one case to the ICC, alive and well today. And Canadians understand this. There's only one court that will go higher than Canada. ICC, International Criminal Court. And that's only on the Indian residential school genocide. That's the only one that can be put forward. And that can end it all. So think about it, freedom fighters. Think about the Treaty Indian, because I promise you, everything else is going to be overseen by the government of Canada. You lose. Like all the other groups, you lose, lose, lose. Don't trust lawyers on this. Sorry to say, they're sworn to the crown too. They're just filling their pockets. I'm not going to say John Carpe. He's not one of them. We'll see how far he can get before they just boom and disbar him. That's what I feel is going to happen to my friend. You all decide. You all decide now. Get on THERESA TAM's feed and say, why do you not include the whopping unvaccinated stats of all immigrants flooding into Canada? 430,000 this year, right now. Canadians, wake up. Wake up.